I tell you, babe, stand in the way you make me feel. Oh, hey, hey, hey. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a special Junior's World of Soul. I'm so excited to record this video. I've been thinking about it all day. I've been so ready to do this. As you can hear, I came in with the legendary Stephanie Mills. Now, y'all know I am the kid of the underrated. I love talking about artists that don't get talked about. That's why I do the current R&B videos. And I just feel like, you know, I just love talking about the underrated because I want people to know that. Why do people underrate these people? I don't understand. So, you know, when people normally talk about singers and they talk about, you know, we can even start with the 60s when they talk about Aretha and they talk about Patti and they talk about Gladys. And then you go to the 70s, it seems like people get stuck. And it seems like the go-to person is Chaka Khan. But I'm like, we had, you know, Natalie Cole, Minnie Riperton, Betty Wright, it was so many. I'm trying to come off the top with it, but it was so many people. But I'd be like, wait a minute, y'all are forgetting about Stephanie Mills. How the world do you forget about her? And it bothers me. Like, when I see people talk about singers, she's one of the ones that don't talk about. Like, you know, me and my brother Sin was just talking about maybe a few hours ago. We was talking about, you know, when she was on the when the Wiz was popping off, the new one that came out. You know, everybody was just like, yo, Stephanie Mills was trending. It was just a beautiful thing to see, and I'm just sitting there like. And people was like, oh my God, Stephanie Mills was the original Dorothy. And I'm like, really? Like, are y'all kidding right now? Stephanie Mills, like, y'all really don't know? Like, she has been, like, she has hits and her music has lasted for over 40 years. And I'm like, how is she so underrated? Like, when Soul Train let her sing Home, everybody was on their feet. And I would go on Twitter and it would be like, yo, oh my God, who is she? I'm like, who is she? Like, are you kidding me? Home? Home is her signature record. How do you not know about Stephanie Mills? So, you know, today, you know, for for 2 weeks, I've been jamming to nothing but Stephanie Mills. And I was like, yo, I haven't done a video on her because Stephanie Mills is in my top 10 favorite singers of all time. She's in my top 10. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about her. So I wanted to make a video about her. And I wanted to make a video on how I was introduced to her. I want to give y'all, you know, some dope medleys. And I just want y'all to understand why I feel like Stephanie Mills should get a Lifetime Achievement Award from Soul Train or you know, BET give her a tribute or something. Like, Stephanie Mills has really made an impact. It wouldn't be no Home with people, you know, remaking this song if it wasn't for her. Like, that's the impact alone. So I feel like I wanted to give my respect and give her a beautiful video. Hopefully I can try to give a beautiful video. So I hope y'all ready to listen to some classics and ready to jam. As y'all can see, I came in with something in the way you make me feel. Woo! Rockin' to it. Y'all see also, I normally wear like a polo shirt, but in this video, I'm representing my mom's alumni, South Carolina State. I have a connection with that college because from 1991 to 1995, I stayed on campus with my mom. So I kind of got the college life before I went to college, so it was a beautiful thing. So I felt like I wanted to represent for her a little bit, represent for the Bulldogs. So, but anyway, let's just get into this video. I can remember when I first heard about Stephanie Mills. I was about 7 years old, and my mom was telling a story about her and her friends and my cousin Vern. They were coming, I think they were either going to Coney Island or they were coming back. And I remember my mother telling this story about how Vern sung Stephanie Mills all the way to Coney Island or from Coney Island to Brownsville where we're from. So she was telling that story, so it was always in the back of my mind. So, you know, one of these Fridays, normal Friday, I don't think everybody was home just yet. I think everybody, was everybody home? I'm trying to think, because But anyway, that doesn't matter. So it was a Friday, and you know, I was always in love with like my grandparents' collection of vinyls and 45s and 33s and their 8-tracks. I always wanted to just pick out an album and just look at it. So one of these days, I went in and I pulled out this album, and my grandparents put it in the china cabinet. So I pulled out this album, and I pulled out this black album, and it said Stephanie Mills. So I said, oh man, wait a minute. I remember Mom talking about her. And I was like, oh, okay, so let me see what this is about. So I said, okay. So I grabbed the record and I put it on. And this is actually the first song that I was actually introduced to Stephanie Mills on my own. Like, I might have heard it on the radio, but I just didn't put two and two together until this day. And it was just like, from then on, it was just like, whoa. And this is the song that kind of put me on to my experiences with one of my favorite singers of all time. And y'all should definitely know it. It's definitely a classic. And it goes a little something like this. So, you know, so I was like, whoa. So when I heard it, I was like, yo, I love her voice. Her voice is dope. Like, yo, I was there with it. So I was just bumping. So I had, you know, at this age, I wasn't drinking yet. So I was just grooving. I had my little tonic water because back then, I'm like really connecting with y'all because I be telling like a lot of what my family drank. But my family was Beefeater gin drinkers. And it used to be gin and tonic. So as a kid, I wanted to feel like I was included. So while they were drinking, I would drink the tonic water. So that was like my little drink. I'd be like, I'm drinking with y'all so I can feel included. But so I don't think they were home yet to think about it. And I was sitting there and I was just jamming. And I was like, what you gonna do with my loving? I'm just rocking. I'm like, okay, I'm rocking. I'm just like, Stephanie. And then she really went in, and this is when I really started to take notice, because I was like, Stephanie is not playing, and it's at this part. And one thing, if you know about Stephanie, at the end, she will break a song down, fast or slow, it really doesn't matter. But this part right here, she goes in, and I'm like, Stephanie, why are you playing with me? And she goes in, and it goes a little something like this. So as a kid, I'm sitting there like rocking, like, oh man, she is singing for now. So then I'm putting my tonic down and just looking at the screen, and like, not the screen, looking at the record player, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, yo, she is singing. So, you know, this album kept playing and kept playing. Then it got to one of my favorite Stephanie Mills songs, and ever since I heard this song, I was like, yo, she is a problem. And I heard this, and it was a rap after then, and I just play it, and it goes a little something like this. Just like, yo, and then at this part, it was just like, yo, I was like, she's one of my favorite singers. And just from this part right here, and I was just sitting, and I love talking about this part, because it seems like now, every time I talk about this song, I I will always go to that part, and then I'm crazy like that. I'll go to that part and just let it ride, and then I'll go and play it from the beginning. I'm crazy like that, but I just love this part of the song because Stephanie tears it up, and it goes a little something like this. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. So, mind y'all, I'm just sitting there, just chilling. Mind you, I'm chilling on my own, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking like this, and my mom walks in, and she was like, Stephanie do that to you. That's what she do. And mind you, I'm just drinking tonic water. I'm not even drinking no booze, no nothing. I'm just sitting there chilling, just like, yo, she is killing it, and she sounds like nobody I've never heard. Like, I love Gladys Knight. She's my favorite singer. And I love Aretha, and I love Whitney, and I love Mahalia Jackson, and I love Patti LaBelle. But it was like her notes, and what she was doing, nobody was doing that. And my mom was like, yep. My mom was like, she do that. So mom was like, shoot, let me have a drink and sit down with you. And, you know, she was like, so she was like, you kind of know who Stephanie Mills is. And I was like, well, I'm learning her now. And she was just like, oh, you remember the Wiz? And I was like, oh yeah, the Wiz with Diana Ross and Michael Jackson. She was like, well, the Wiz was on Broadway, and Stephanie Mills played Dorothy. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, oh, for real? And she was like, yes. Yeah. So I was like, well, why didn't they get Stephanie Mills to play Dorothy? And the look my mother gave me, she was like, Diana Ross. That's all I got to say. And I said, oh, okay. Because by then, I already knew the story. So I was just like, oh, okay, I got you. So, but my mom was like, you know, Stephanie Mills is kind of like my aunt's eras. And, you know, the way my mom explains music to me, she puts it in different eras so it can be an age that I can understand. So it will be like if she was talking about, Sam Cooke and Otis Redding and Brooke Benton and, early James Brown and Jackie Wilson and all those, she would be like Grandma and Granddaddy's era. Then she would get to, like we'll start with the 70s, and she will get maybe, she'll talk about like maybe Stevie and Betty Wright and Tyrone Davis and Stephanie Mills and Natalie Cole and 70s Aretha and 70s Gladys. She would say that's like my aunts, their era. And then she will go to the 80s, which was more of her era, and then of course the 90s and things like that. So she broke it up into era so I could kind of understand the age category. So she broke it down, and Mom definitely is my historian when it comes to music, because one thing, we didn't have the internet back then like that. So my mom read a lot of books, and as much music as I know, she knows a little bit more than I do. But it was just like she knew the history. So, shoot, after she heard the history and after she gave me a little history on it, she was like, shoot, throw that back on. So she threw back on What You Gonna Do With My Lovin', and we started grooving to it, especially at this. And me and her just got up, and this is the time where she had her drink and I had mine. And it goes a little something like this. What you gonna do with my lovin'? I tried, y'all. I tried. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I could be singing in these videos. Y'all know how crazy I am. So, yeah, so that day, I will never forget. It was just a Friday, and that was kind of like my introduction to the music of Stephanie Mills. So then, it was like, then my musical mind went into overdrive. So then I started, during that time, I was able to go online and see songs and see different stuff and check out where she was from, knowing that Stephanie Mills was from Brooklyn. So that was the connection. It was like, yo, she's from Brooklyn, okay. Then found out her being on The Wiz, and, you know, then she had an album before The Wiz, and then also found out from, Rosie O'Donnell interviews, and she said she sucked in the audition. She wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? But obviously they couldn't deny that voice. You know what I'm saying? And she ended up playing The Wiz, and then after then, she came out with another album that was with Burt Bacharach and Hal Davis, and I guess during that time it was a big thing, and you know, she was doing songs from this. I think they was trying to get her niche, and then it was like once she got with 20th Century Fox, and she got with what's his name, Reggie Lucas, and a guy that I'm gonna talk about in maybe the next medley that I play after this one. And once she got with them, they found the niche, and that's why her first kind of big single is What You Gonna Do With My Lovin'. So I just, you know, from there was just like, whoa. So, you know, giving y'all a little bit of background about Stephanie Mills and kind of a little bit of the impact that she made, because if it wouldn't have been for a big finale of Home the way she did it, Diana Ross wouldn't have did it, then you wouldn't have had, you know, Whitney do it on her the Mel Griffin show. That was her introduction to the public. It wouldn't have been that. So it was like Stephanie created an impact, and that's why I felt like, yo, she deserves a video. So let's get this started. We're going to start with a couple of bangers that you should know that were hits, and we're going to start with the first one, and this was off the Sweet Sensation album, and clearly it's the title track, and it goes a little something like this. You know what I'm saying? So we started off right. Sweet Sensation, that's a funky joint. You know what I'm saying? But this, I think, is Stephanie's biggest hit on pop radio. Pop radio, you know, Stephanie didn't have a lot of crossovers, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but she didn't have a lot of big crossovers, but this one here was huge for her. And this is kind of what everybody kind of loved. The mainstream quote-unquote world knows from Stephanie, and this was her biggest hit, and it goes a little something like this, and I think you all should know it, and here we go. I'm gonna get a DJ, y'all, soon. What a surprise, 'cause I never knew love like this before. Ooh, no. I'm sorry. If you saw it, if you watched the video, Stephanie, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I cracked, and you never cracked, so I apologize. But that song right there, a banger. You know, I love when she, you know, when you see live performances of that song when it came out. Like, if y'all see the performance she did on the AMAs, and then she also do a performance on, I forgot what the show was, and she's wearing this, like, green jumpsuit type of thing. And one thing about Stephanie, she will always take it to church. It's just bottom line. She comes from the church, and she takes it to church. And every one of those performances, she takes it to church. So I love that record. The next record is one of three duets that her and Teddy Pendergrass did. And when them two got together, it was always fire. And here's Two Hearts. They always got together, and Them two, and clearly they was on. I think they were on the same label, if I'm not mistaken. No, she wasn't on Philly. No, she wasn't, cause he was on Philly International. She wasn't. Okay, sorry. But them two always got together. They created magic. I think their voices meshed together. I wish they could have did a duet album. That would have been dope too. But then the next one she kind of got with the little, because during the time of the 80s, the music started to change, and it wasn't no longer like really disco and dance. It was more like of a new type of R&B, like quote unquote Kashif, kind of brought in a new change in R&B music, and you had people like, Shalimar and Stephanie Mills kind of added a little bit of a rock flavor to it. And this song I like the song, and it's called Last Night, and it goes a little something like this. Hope y'all rocking to these joints. Hopefully after, the video, y'all go and purchase these joints for real. But here we go. Goes like a little something like this. Let's back it up a little. Back it up a little more. Here we go. I love that joint. That joint is funky, but you could tell that the sound was changing. You know what I'm saying? So she got with that, and the next song is another one of my favorites. It's kind of a mid-tempo by Stephanie, and it's called Keep Away Girls. That's keeping the girls away, but keep away girls, and I love it. It's smooth. It's definitely a mid-tempo type of record, and here we go. It was a little something like this. Hopefully y'all enjoying it. Hopefully y'all liking, the songs being played, because all these was hits. So here we go. I just love, cause keep away, girl. Woo! I just love it, cause it's just so smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just love it. But with that song, because for me, if y'all know me by now, I'm an album credit type of dude. So on the vinyls and all that, I'm looking on the back and I'm finding out. I was like, oh snap! I was like, yo, Alfred and Sip Asher. Oh God, I suck when it comes to names. Ashford and Simpson actually produced and wrote this record. Like when she came out with this album, they produced a couple of songs and wrote a couple of records for her. So for me, I'm a fan of theirs because they wrote, basically the classic duets for Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. So I ran to my mom and I was like, Mom. I was like, yo. I was like, Ashford and Simpson, they wrote this song, Keep Away Girls. And I was like, yo, Ma, I didn't know that. She was like, oh yeah. She was like, oh yeah, I knew that. She was like, oh yeah, I knew that. So, then I was like, Ma, I need to know more. Like, what more do you know about Stephanie Mills? So she was like, boy, she done worked with so many people. And I was like, oh, for real? And she was like, well, the guy that made Juicy Fruit and Angela Winbush. And I was like, the guy that made Juicy Fruit. She was like, Lord, my child. She was like, but you probably know the Biggie, but you don't know. And I'm like, who? And she was like, oh, Lord. So then she went and played it. And then it came to me, y'all. I was a little slow with it at first, but then it came to me, and then she was talking about this. And then she was like, okay, so now because then Mom had to play it for me. Then she was like, Angela Winbush with Renee and Angela. And I was like, oh, yeah, Your Smile, and the one that made, she also did Your Angel, and then, I'll Be Good, and I was like, oh, the Foxy and Jay-Z, they remade it, and she was like, oh, yeah, come on, she was like, you remember the other song that she made? And I was like, nah, and I couldn't think about it, and she was like, okay, so then she went to there, And then she played this. And then it was like, oh, Ma took it back to the South Carolina State days. And here we go. So you know, for a minute we had to groove to that for a minute, and it was like, oh snap! I was like, oh, so Angela Bush wrote that. So she was like, yeah, she has worked with so many people, and I was just like, oh wow. So I don't remember verbatim. I know Mom was sitting down with me telling me a little bit more about Stephanie. It might have went in one ear and came out the other, but then after I got older, then it was like, okay. Then I did my own research and found some stuff on Stephanie. But this leads me into the second medley I want to play. Now we're going to play a lot of the ballads, classic ballads from Stephanie Mills. So remember, I was saying that her and Angela Winbush have wrote a lot of songs together. Like, Angela has written a lot of songs for Stephanie Mills, but one of them, and this song has become my favorite Stephanie Mills song because she goes in, period, all that. And let's get ready for it. And I just love this record. Like, I be trying to sing it, man. And one thing about Stephanie Mills, she is one of the ones that just make you want to sing in the shower. And you know you be off key, but it's all good though. You be like, and you have it blasting in your house and nobody can hear you but you. And you thinking you sounding good because you thinking you on key with Stephanie, and then you realize, oh no, wait a minute. But this song here, I love it, I love it, I love it. And I'm just going to get to the chorus. I ain't even going to tell you the song. I'm just going to get to the chorus, and here we go. I would love to see her do this live, like, for real. Like, I look at the videos on YouTube and see her do this live, and I'd be like, Stephanie could probably sing that to me, and it'd probably be tears just running down, because that's my favorite song from her, because she kills it. But at the end, y'all, she goes off. Period, point blank, she goes in. And I wish, like, after the 5-minute point of this song, she completely goes in. But I give y'all a little sample, since y'all know YouTube be acting stupid. I give y'all a little sample of kind of where Stephanie goes with it. And here we go. Made me shake the lip at the end. Come on, man. Y'all can't tell me y'all not feeling that, man. And Stephanie said, and she let you know, I'm not ashamed to tell you that. She talking to you because she know she hit that note, y'all. I get so hyped with that part. Like, y'all, that 5-minute point from I've learned to respect the power of love. From that 5-minute point to the end, Steph, you're in her world just on her vocals alone. And then even Angela Winbush did her version of it. She kills it too. But it's just something about Stephanie Mills' version that just the soul. It's just like, I just go in for that record, and I love it. So another record I think everybody kind of loves from Stephanie Mills, it was a performance on the Apollo that I see that she do. And you know the Apollo will let you know. But let me tell you something. It just, the beginning started playing and the crowd went crazy. But I will go to the chorus once again. And if you know Stephanie Mills and you know her ballads, this is one of the ones that I think everybody kind of go for. And it goes a little something like this. Man, and just the beginning, when you heard the beginning, that's why I be like, you two, why y'all gotta act funny? Why can't we play the whole record so they can get into it? But it's all good, because then y'all can go purchase the joint so y'all can feel it on your own. But you know one thing I always said about Stephanie Mills, at the end, there's no lyrics. It's just her ad-libbing and her just taking it home. And she will take it home at the end of the record. And this is the part that I love. It feels like a choir comes in, but it's her background singers. And it goes a little something like this. I'm telling you, yo, the end, Stephanie goes for blood. You know what I'm saying? So I just love this record too. That's in my top 10 of her songs. Love it, love it, love it. The next record is actually a duet that Teddy and Stephanie Mills did, and you know, I was going back and forth with a couple of people on Twitter about this. This is their duet version of Feel the Fire. Now, a lot of people don't, I guess, if you're a Stephanie Mills fan, you know that she did the Feel the Fire off her kind of breakthrough album. You know, I love it by itself, but I can understand why people love this, because don't get me wrong, her and Teddy did some damage, but I think just for me, I was introduced to Stephanie Mills because of that, her solo version, that I guess I'm attached to it. But don't get me wrong, her and Teddy P did their thing on this, and it's Feel the Fire, and here we go. So it goes a little something like this, and I'm telling you, I was like, at first I was like battling people, but then I'm listening, so I'm like, Teddy and Stephanie gets down on this. So here is their version of a little bit of Feel the Fire. So they sound so good. It was like she's high and he's low, that baritone, but he's still killing it. But I like when they're feeding off of each other, and that's the end. Let me tell you something. Stephanie, with the end of these records, she gonna give it to you, and her and Teddy gave it to me at the end of this duet. And here we go. Give y'all a little sample of that. Hopefully y'all, like I said, hopefully y'all enjoying this for real. I wish I could play the whole song for y'all, but it's all good because, you know, it just makes you want to go back and buy it. Hopefully you guys will go buy it. But here when Uncle Teddy and Auntie Stephanie gets down.
I want to give you all of my love. I want to give you all of my
love. Woo! Come on, man. I love that's a duet when you kind of feeding off each other and y'all know what y'all doing and y'all kind of talking to each other. They killed it. So I definitely respect why that's people's favorite, you know, version of the song. But I'm in love with her solo version, but I do love their duet with Teddy P and her. So that's Feel the Fire. The next one, I want this to kind of be a wedding song. It sounds like a wedding song to me, and it's slow, but it's a classic Stephanie Mills record. It's off her, I think it's the Sweet Sensations, I think. I could be wrong. It could be on the What You Gonna Do With My Lovin' album, but I could be wrong. But here's You and I, and goes a little something like this. See, I'm giving y'all hits. That's why I'm like, how can she be underrated? But anyway, here we go. See, I love it. It's just so mellow, and it kind of gives me the Minnie Riperton vibe of Loving You. It's like so mellow and it's like so smooth, but you know, like I said, Stephanie gonna give you some vocals at the end, and she do, and she don't go too bad in this. Like she don't go like in like Power of Love or I Feel Good All Over, but she, you know, she get a little bit, and it's just a little run that Stephanie will get you in, and here we go, and it goes a little something like this. No, not there. Just that alone, that's just a gift that can't be taught. You know what I'm saying? And that I love that part. So that's You and I. So the last song is, I think so many people covered this record, and I was so happy when I found out that Stephanie Mills covered this record. And here we go. And y'all should know it. There's so many people that did it, but it's definitely, you know, it's written and produced by one of the best musicians of all time, Prince. And let's go to that part there. Here we go. And that's one thing I like. Stephanie made this joint her own, and you could tell that even though when Alicia Keys, she did it, you know what I'm saying, you could tell she took from Prince's version a little bit, and she took from Stephanie's, because I'm seeing a little bit of a vocal kind of arrangement she kind of did on the record that she kind of took a little bit of hers. So that's dope. But at the end, I gotta always give you an end on Stephanie. And here we go. And then this part right here. Here we go. Come on, y'all. She did just a little bit. Just that little bit could take you there. She could do that, and when she do it live, the crowd goes crazy. So, you know, that part of that medley, I just wanted to show y'all that Stephanie has ballads, classic ballads. There's so much more, but she's worked with legends. She's worked with Ashford and Simpson. She works with Teddy Pendergrass. She worked with Reggie Lucas and James, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the guy that did Juicy Fruit, that y'all know. I can't pronounce his name. I suck with names, if y'all don't know by now. I'm horrible when it comes to names. But, you know, so that's why I'm like, stop playing with Stephanie. And one thing about Prince, he will not approve a record that he wrote or produced if it ain't good. So he was not going to let that out. For him hearing it, he'd be like, oh, no, I'm not approving of that. He knows Stephanie got down on it. So if you got legends like Prince that respects her gift, come on, because Prince was a shady somebody when it came to somebody not having talent. What? Y'all saw how many stuff Prince, man, he even went in Michael sometime. What? Come on now. But, you know, it's just, I'm like, all these songs were big R&B records. And get into this, because now we're going to get into like the middle 80s, about 86, 87, 88. You know, I think that's the time when kind of everything in the industry was changing. Because, you know, back in the 70s, you had so many R&B soul singers that were able to have a couple of hits, and they were able to kind of be, how can I say it? Even though it wasn't, you know, they wasn't, oh my God, big crossover mainstream, but they still got a couple of mainstream records. You know what I'm saying? That's why you still had the Aretha's, the Patti, the Gladys, the, you know, like I said, Betty Wright, Natalie Cole, you know, Minnie Riperton. There were so many other Mavis Staples. You had so many 70s girls that was able to kind of, you know, everybody could kind of be respected. But then when it got to the middle 80s, and it was kind of hard, because it was like mainstream just wanted that one black girl that could really, really sing. And that's when it kind of, Whitney kind of took over. It was like, it was hard for, you know, these girls that was able to sing, that was able to have these big R&B records that crossed over to mainstream. But it stopped, because then Whitney came in, and it was just like she was getting played on, you know, white, and she was getting played on black. And it was just like, it was hard. So when I look at a lot of these big R&B songs that Stephanie Mills had, I always call her Mill, but I mean Stephanie Mills had in 85, 86, 87, they were big R&B hits. They even went to #1, but they didn't chart on the Hot 100, which I thought was pretty weird, because I'm like, how can a song be #1 on the R&B charts, but it's not on the Hot 100? Like, I've Learned to Respect The Power of Love was #1. I Feel Good All Over was #1 on the R&B charts, but it did not chart on the Hot 100, which I think is weird. And I was just like, I get it. The climate was changing. It was like, now that's the way it is now. It's like, what do we have now? The big R&B quote-unquote girls is Beyonce, Rihanna. They're the top girls when it comes to quote-unquote R&B music. So when Whitney came in, it was just like, you know, when it comes to the ballads and all that, Whitney had it and had that crossover appeal. But you had women like Stephanie Mills and Mickey Howard and Regina Bell and so many of these girls that was really singing, but they wasn't getting that mainstream, because it was like Whitney was getting pushed in everybody's face, in mainstream face, and people like Stephanie wasn't. But these songs were still huge. She can go to the Apollo and everybody will be singing these songs. That just showed you how much of an impact she had on the R&B charts. So that brings me to my last medley, and it's like the late 80s. And Stephanie still had a couple of bangers, and I love this song because I love when she did it at the Apollo and she was just rocking. But here is and Stephanie was giving you attitude and all that, and I love it on this performance. But it's called, if this is off of If You Were My Woman album, and I think it was the first single if I'm not mistaken. And here we go. Hey! What kind of girl do you think I am? Woo! Love that, y'all. I be trying to blow with Stephanie, y'all. I be trying, y'all. I got a little woo in there, but yeah. And I love that. And you know, one thing about Stephanie, like I told y'all, she will give you, you know, if it's a fast song, but let Stephanie take it home, and she gonna give you some vocals at the end. So here we go. Stephanie letting you know I'm still here. You might be getting a fast record, but I'm still going to give you them, woo! Oh, yeah. The next record I came in with, and one thing about this song, you know, I will never forget, because this is off the Home album. My grandparents actually had this cassette, and it was white, and I never forget it. And the boombox that we had in the house, I will always play this song because I think it was the first song on the album. And I love this song because, you know, I just love vocally, because like I said at the end, Stephanie will take it home, and which I can't play on this because, you know, YouTube acting stupid. But from like the 420 point to the end, Stephanie takes it. But I started off with this song, so, you know, I give y'all a little bit more of it, and just makes you want to groove a little bit. And it's just such an 80s record. Here we go. Hey! Woo! And then I'm just going to go to the end. And I swear, y'all, I just wish I could play this whole thing, but it's all good. And it's just, Stephanie just takes it home. And I'll just be sitting there looking like, yo, the vocal acrobatics that she do is crazy. And here we go. Go back a little bit. Here we go. I just used to love, and every time I'd be like, ah, and I'll be like, trying, and I'll be like, I'll be coughing, and Stephanie's still holding the note. I'll be like, God damn. But I used to always go love that part, and I know my grandma, because I used to come home and try to play that part, and I know my grandmother got sick of it, because she'd be like, really? How many times you going to do this? But, because they know me, I will play a record over and over and over and over again and try to get everything about the record, the vocal acrobatics, and all that kind of mess. But anyway, the next record is a top 3 of my Stephanie Mills joint. It was number 8 on the R&B charts. Yo, Stephanie is singing. It's something about this song that just takes me somewhere. And it kind of reminds me a little of Mickey Howard's Love Under New Management, because of it kind of sounds like a choir. Just like how Feel Good All Over, that part. But this record just makes you feel some kind of way. It's just a beautiful record. And this is one song off the Home album that I never got sick of. And here we go. Goes a little something like this. God, I love this song. And mind you, you're just in the beginning. And she takes it there. I love that. And I love the performance that she did on Arsenio Hall. I hope maybe somebody on YouTube might have found it and put that up there. And she's sitting in the chair. She makes it look so effortless. But I go to the exact part that I love. And, man. Oh, Lord. God, I wish I could play this old song so I can get to the feeling so y'all can see how crazy I am. Just that part. I got to go back. Wait a minute. I don't think y'all heard. I really don't think y'all heard it. Just that part right there. Hold on. Come on. Woo! Just, woo! Lord, man. That part right there, I will go in all day. All day. Just keep rewinding that part over and over and over and over. Love that record. But I cannot talk about Stephanie Mills without talking about her signature record. Everybody wants her to do that when you hear live. And how can I not talk about Home? And just give y'all a sample of this. And here we go. It's not too much you can say about it. It goes like this. Back there, woo, with the thing. See, I always get to Whitney's because I know her version, but I love Stephanie's version too. But you know, Stephanie goes in on the end. I wish because people got video or something that we can catch her doing the Wiz, you know, back in the 70s live. I wish maybe they got it on YouTube and I may never really looked for it. But you know, Stephanie gonna give you a little bit and. Come on, y'all. Nobody, I don't care who redid it. It's so many people that redid it. You cannot be Stephanie Mills. That is her song. That is her signature song. I love Whitney. I love how Diana did it in the movie. It's all good, but you will not come nowhere close to Stephanie Mills. That's her signature record. Like every artist had that signature record that we want to hear at home. We want to hear from Stephanie. Y'all should see when she did it at the Apollo. She killed it. Oh my God, she even sat down on the stairs, had people up there rocking with her, because that's her song, and nobody can take that away, man, nobody. So, You know what I'm saying? I did this video because I wanted people to understand that Stephanie Mills deserves her flowers. Let's give it to them while they're here, not when they leave and then everybody like, oh my God, they was this great person. Give her her stripe. Somebody, I don't care, BET, Soul Train, NAACP, something. Give Stephanie Mills her Legends Award. She definitely deserves it because from 78 to 1993, she was on the R&B charts all the time. In the top 20 all the time with a banger that we love today. Like, it's still classic material. And she's been in this industry since, what, 75 when she did The Wiz? It was just like, yo, like, she deserves her stripes. And that's why I did this video, because, you know, it's so many people that don't give Stephanie Mills the respect that she deserves. I love her. Like I said, she's my top 10 singers of all time. And seeing just a piece of this just proves why she is. And I just want to play y'all a video that I found from Stephanie, because this is how I'm going to end it. And Stephanie, let me tell y'all something. She told them to cut the music because they was about to start the music. I guess the music was acting stupid. She cut it off just to show you them vocals are still there. And this was 2015. So we gonna go out with this, and Stephanie killed this performance. I wish I could play the whole thing, but I ain't, you know, y'all can go find it. I'll put it under the more info box, but it goes a little something like this. Here we go.
I'm not sure, just it's no mirage to me.
I'm out, y'all. Respect to Stephanie Mills, to the legend. I'm out, y'all. Peace.